Hey, Alexandra.
Hi, Genevieve. It's so nice to meet you. When you auditioned for Lock and Key, did you do it in person or did you do that on like a self tape?
Yeah, it started with a self tape, and I believe it was rather late in the process of their casting. But yeah, I was actually at the Whistler Film Festival promoting another film I was in, and got the call to put the role on tape, sent it in, and then within a couple days, I got notice that they wanted me to come in and do a chemistry read with Connor, who plays Tyler.
Oh,
So.
perfect. And when you get an audition like this, they send you a description of the character that you're auditioning for. What was the description for Jackie like?
Yeah, I believe it was like girl next door, athlete. In terms of her kind of yeah, her actual character, she's somebody who really strives to see the best in people all the time. I think like she's very optimistic and gives people the benefit of the doubt a lot of the time, but at the same time, she's also not afraid to put people in their place, and she's not afraid of that kind of confrontation. So yeah,
I really like that about her. Um,
yeah.
what was your first impression of the series when you first heard about it? Were you familiar with it through the graphic novels?
I wasn't. I actually had never heard of Lock and Key. I know it's like such a massive, it has such a massive following, the comic books. So upon receiving the audition and the initial couple, I got the first two scripts before my self tape. I just kind of had to do some research online to familiarize myself with the original, content, the stories in the comic books. And then from there, and when I was getting ready for my chemistry with Connor, they sent me an additional two scripts. So I basically had the first four scripts before I was even cast. I learned pretty quickly in terms of my research, what I was researching online about the stories in the comic books and the character of Jackie in the comic books versus what was being conveyed in the scripts is that they really adapted her. Like she wasn't the same character in the comic books as she is in the television show. So I actually kind of just like wanted to treat the material as its own standalone project. And I still to this day have not actually read the comic books.
Your scenes with Connor Jessup are so adorable. What's he like to work with?
Oh, Connor is wonderful to work with. Yeah, actually, and that's something I felt. I remember my very first impression of him actually at our chemistry read was like, this guy's really smart. He's really smart and like and is focused. And I can just has a good, I think, like sense of detail. Like he really cares about the performance and everything he's bringing to the table, and he does his homework. So, which was also a little bit intimidating because if I didn't do my homework, then it would show. But no, I loved working with Connor. Yeah, most of my scenes and most of the time I spent on set was with him. So we got pretty close, and yeah, I think, I mean, clearly the producers, our showrunners, Carlton and Meredith, must have saw some kind of chemistry at the chemistry read because I felt very good to me. Like I felt it felt really seamless to kind of one for me to step into the character of Jackie, but also in contrast to his character Tyler. Like I feel like we just had it. It was there.
There are quite a few other young members of the cast. What did you guys do for fun when the cameras weren't rolling?
Yeah. Um, I think particularly in the first season, I feel like we really tried to make an effort to all get together. It was harder in the second during the second season of filming because of the pandemic, of course, and us all wanting to be safe. And even though we were technically all like in each other's bubble because we're at work together, it was still wanting to kind of stay separate outside of work. So yeah, first season, we would, oh gosh, we would have gatherings at people's homes, just food, that sort of thing. We'd go out for dinners. We went ice skating one time. We went to a movie. I believe we went to a movie, but pretty early on because Jackson, who plays Bodhi, he was like the lead in a film right when we had all basically right when we started filming season one. So a bunch of us went out and watched his movie, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, just sort of stuff like that. When we're off set and we're not working, we kind of just want to do chill things anyways. Like you don't want to do anything that's going to require too much energy. So it's mostly just hanging out people's homes. Yeah, grabbing dinner somewhere, hanging out. Yeah.
And speaking of the pandemic, were you all able to keep in touch during it? Because I mean, especially the younger cast is so multinational. Connor's from Canada, Amelia from Britain, and Jackson is from the States.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we did somewhat. I'm sure everyone kind of has their like couple of go-to people that they're closer with perhaps in set because we do have such a big ensemble cast. So yeah, certainly I definitely stayed in touch. I'm pretty close with Patrice, who plays Scott, as well as I'm close with Asha, who plays Zadie on the show. So I was in touch with them a lot. I was also in touch with Liza, who plays Dodge. Um, and then otherwise, we have a big like WhatsApp group chat. So whenever stuff would come up there, we're always kind of like posting in our chat, and that's a good way for us to stay in touch too.
I love the locations in this series, especially like the buildings, like Key House. It looks like an actual British mansion. Is that an actual house?
Um, Part of it is. So like the bottom half of it is an actual build. It's a build that like Netflix did just for the show. So it wasn't the house to begin with, but yeah, they built it on a big piece of land outside of Toronto. And but yeah, it's just like the bottom half of the house. The upper part of the house is CGI. So yeah, it's not even real. The magic of movie making.
Not even in a studio somewhere?
Well, the interiors are, but yeah, not the exterior. The exterior of the top of the part of the house is all CGI.
And where are the other locations, like the school? Where was that filmed?
Yeah, so the exterior is Humber College West, I believe. And then the interiors we used, I believe it's called Wycliffe College. It's a part of U of T, University of Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene to film?
We did some stuff that was like the cave exteriors, and that was actually filmed in Nova Scotia. So I like some of that stuff. I mean, because we were like outside, we were like on these actual cliffs with the Atlantic Ocean like crashing beneath us. I think there's sometimes moments when I'm working on a project and I have these moments where I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is my job. This is amazing. And that was one of those moments where it's kind of just like, this is what I get to do for a living. And it's like make believe and it's play. And aside from, because that was a night shoot and there was lots of mosquitoes. So aside from the mosquitoes and it being cold out, it was a lot of fun.
So they actually flew you all to Nova Scotia?
Yeah, for a bit. We went to Nova Scotia twice, or I went to Nova Scotia twice. I don't know if they went a third time, but yeah, we went to Nova Scotia at least a couple times during the first season to film. Because of the pandemic for second season, we ended up having to find a different location that looked like our exteriors that we needed to get to represent Matheson, Massachusetts. Yeah, but not the entire cast, but a lot of us went to Nova Scotia. Yeah.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
And final question. I know you've been acting a long time. When did you start acting and how did you get into it?
Yeah. So I guess I've really gone into it. I've always loved performing, but it wasn't probably until I was in high school and I did my first actual like school production. I was in The Wizard of Oz. I was 14 years old and I just fell in love with being on stage and being part of an ensemble cast and getting to really take something just like from the page and bring it to life. And so it was soon after that production that I convinced my parents to let me get an agent and start just doing TV and film stuff and pursuing it professionally. So yeah, technically I've been doing it for 15 years on and off. But it's really only the past 4 or 5 years that I've been doing it full time. It's been a long road to get to this point where I can really call it my career. And yeah.
I want to thank you so much for talking with me today about Locke and Key.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. It was lovely chatting.
Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, or if you're returning and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, tap it now, plus the notification bell in the right-hand corner so that you make sure you don't miss out on any new celebrity interviews. While you're at it, hit the like button and tell me below in the comments, who's your favorite star? Who would you like to see me interview next? I'd love to hear from you.